Hello, this is Triggered Care. I'm Alex. This is the start of the next vlog. Um, I'm gonna make up the vlog stuff that I have already for this last week and put them out today. So, last time I was talking about getting tattooed and how it was a weird feeling. Well, that weird feeling continued through yesterday. I had a rough day of triggers. Very rough day of triggers. Part of it's just the healing process and where it is on my body. A lot of memories. Last night, I don't know for how long, but it felt like hours that I was just. It was like having a montage of flashbacks. And it wasn't just, the scar and stuff. My husband was really busy yesterday, like fixing stuff in the garage because it's snowing a lot. So, he wanted to get a few things done before that happened and just fell behind. So he had to spend some time out there, and he asked me to do the dishes, which I said yes, because I should be able to do the dishes. And I only got them half done before I ran away from them because I couldn't handle them. And I got kind of triggered, and then he was busy for the rest of the day into the night. And I had a mom, so I was doing that. But then after I put my kid to bed, I was just exhausted and sad and lonely. And then we got into an argument last night because he's stressed out too. And it's really hard to support one another when you're both really stressed out. And that kind of spiked the severity of my anger and depression for a bit. I don't know. It was almost like I was 10 years younger, 12 years younger. Like I was there. And living there meant, it had its foundational truths like I'm stupid and, why am I so worthless? Why can't I just do stuff right? That sort of dialogue that goes through your head of, I feel horrible. I feel like I'm a stupid, horrible human being that doesn't deserve to live. And dealing with those thoughts, I mean, dear God in heaven, those are hard. Those are really hard. And of course, when I'm in that state of mind, it's very hard for my husband to communicate with me because my walls go up. My big old keeping me safe walls of you can't trust anybody, you can't talk to anybody, nobody cares about you. Like, even your husband hates you. Don't trust that, don't trust this, don't trust anything. So, I don't know. I woke up feeling kind of terrible too. Oh, my eyes are so swollen. It's like I'm a bug-eyed now with them popping out of my head. So, that's fun. That's just a lot of fun. Oh, and I still have a cold. Of course I still have a cold. I don't think I'll ever stop having a cold at this point. Pretty sure I'm just gonna be sick forever. But, What can you do? I was already sick forever, you know? Just a real sick person. But, yeah. Uh, well, let's just say the last week has been somewhat of a roller coaster of emotion, you know? Like, getting my computer fixed was like a big high endorphin filled time, and then getting a tattoo that I really want. I was so excited for this tattoo, but its placement, I didn't think it would affect me this much. I didn't think that because I've had other tattoos and I didn't go through this. You know, like I have one on my forearm, and I used to carve into my forearm and stuff, but that wasn't my go-to one because that's way too obvious. You know, when I carved into my forearm, it was usually just during school with a mechanical pencil or a hair barrette, whatever I could find. And it wasn't as ritualistic. You know, my go-to spots were on my thighs. Or, like, the one on my back didn't bother me at all. The one on my other arm didn't bother me at all. The one on my ankle didn't bother me at all. Like, you know, like going into it, I didn't think it would be this much, but it's literally just a placement. Like going to sleep now, lying down, it's like last night I was seeing my old bedroom, and I was seeing my old bed frame, and I could feel my old bed frame while in bed with my husband, and that realizing how terrible my nights were as a child is it's hard. And remembering having wounds, having open wounds as a child, and trying to go to sleep, and trying to ignore them, and not talking to anybody about them. Not talking to my friends about it, not talking to my family about it, not talking to my sisters about it. It was just me, and I had to deal with this open wound that might get infected, and it might have been too deep, and all this stuff, but, like, I just kept it to myself, and I just did what I had to do, and it just made things a little bit more painful, especially when it got stingy, or I took a shower, or going to bed, which leg I would lie down on. Like, all this weird these little things that I kind of just didn't think about for the longest time, because I've been cut free for so long that, you know, you just forget about it almost until you got the most big trigger ever, a big ass tattoo on your thigh, and you're like, oh my god, I remember. I'm remembering so much. Holy shit, this is really sad. Um, yeah. And then that will turn from this is really sad into I'm really bad. I'm a bad person. I'm a bad person. The old thinking patterns that came along with that. And like part of me doesn't even want to be around knives at all. I don't want to see a blade cuz I'm like afraid of like you know, oh well I know what will make me feel better. Just some more endorphins, some more adrenaline. And that's a really horrible spot to be in. People who struggle with self-harm, you know, my heart really goes out to you because believe me, I know how hard it is to quit, and I also know how hard it is to like keep up on not doing it. I know. I mean, I have scratched into my skin in the last 6 years, definitely. I've punched myself in the head a number of times in the last 6 years, definitely, but no, I. Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Um, but you know, it's different. Scratching at yourself is different than cutting into yourself, and not to just like say, oh, well, it's not real self harm if you're just scratching yourself. Skin picking and scratching into yourself still a form of self harm. Still should be taken very seriously, because it's it's nagging at that same thing of like I need pain to ground, I need pain to feel better, I need to punish myself because I deserve it. You know, like all of those things are very negative um, to live in. It's a very negative view to have on life. It's a very destructive coping mechanism to have. So, you know, it's not good. It's not good. And I'm struggling with that at the current moment a little bit. Cause you know, like when my ma saw my scars. Okay, when I cut myself at 12, she saw that because I was stupid. Well, I wasn't stupid. I was a kid. I was a kid and naive, and so when I first cut myself, I just did it right on my ankle, on the inside of my ankle with my leg, like, you know how you cross your legs sort of? Well, my legs were half crossed, and I just took a hairbreadth and I cut into my ankle. And there was like a dozen little lines of where I was cutting, all clustered into a bunch. And when my mom saw this, like I was talking to her in a room later or whatever, and my pants had kind of gone up from like just sitting cross-legged, and she saw them, and she's like, "Oh, what's that?" And I go, "Oh, well, I was at my friend's house, and I fell into a pricker bush, and it just managed to scratch up my ankle like that." And she's like, "Okay." You know, and when I was little, when I was younger, I thought I was the smartest liar ever, because everything I told my mother, she was just like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." And then, the next time that she caught me cutting myself, I was trying to do it with this, like, kitchen knife, and it was dull. I think I already told this story, but it was dull, and I was, like, trying to hammer it into my skin, and it wasn't working at all, and that was on my wrist. Well, on the top side of my wrist, not the bottom side of my wrist, because I didn't want to fuck shit up by dying. I just needed some relief. And, so when she found me with that, you know, I told her, "Oh, well, let me go to youth group anyway. I really want to go to youth group." And she's like, "Okay." But my stepfather had overheard us, because she was more dramatic about it that time, because everybody was home and all of that, and I was kind of crying and yelling, and so he wanted to know what was going on. And so after I left to go to church, because my friend picked me up, um, she told my stepdad about it, and he's like, "We need to take her to the hospital. What are you doing sending her to church? Like, we need to take her in." So, he drove her over to the church to pick me up. And then, you know, they were taking me to the hospital, and then she was going on and on, like, "What did I do to deserve this? What the hell is wrong with you?" All that sort of deal. And then when we got to the hospital, like, the doctor looked at it, and he's like, "Oh, these are very superficial cuts," you know? And that pissed me off, because it's like, yeah, they're superficial because I had a dull fucking knife, you twit. But I didn't say that. But I thought it. I'm like, that's super fucking rude to say to somebody who's trying to cut into themselves. Oh, it's not that serious. It's very superficial. So after that, they sent me to, like, this group home for a while. And so I stayed there for, I don't know, like a week or something like that. I don't remember how long it was I was there, but it was kind of scary at first just because it was a new place. But I kind of settled in really quickly to it because everybody was nice. You had your set number of chores that, you know, everybody had to do something to contribute and help out, but it wasn't like one person cleaning everything. And then I got sent to a crisis family for a day. You know, it's like not really foster care. It's a step before foster care where, like, people just take you in if you need a break from your home. That's what they told me. It's like, well, you need a break from your home, so you're gonna stay with this crisis family. And it was this an elderly couple. I got my own room when I was staying at their place. They gave me a delicious breakfast. They asked me how my day was. They were just very sweet, decent people. And I only got to stay there for one day. And so when I went to school and I knew that I had to go back home afterwards, like, there was a part of me that was really sad that I couldn't go back with that family, with that crisis family, because they seemed to like me, you know? And that sort of stuff always touched me real deep in my heart. Whenever people showed me, human decency or compassion, that's always moved me to tears because I never thought I was deserving of that. Yeah. So, what else? I thought I heard people getting upstairs. So that's the reason why all of a sudden I'm not talking as much. Yeah. I should get going anyway. This is turning into a long vlog, but I'll finish those stories later. So, have a good one. Hi, it is 12/3, 8:23, and this is just a continuation of the vlog. Obviously, you can tell by the time I slept through my alarms. I don't even need to really announce when I sleep through my alarms. If I'm up by 6 or 7 is when I wake up by my alarms, and then 8 o'clock is when I'm like, crap, I didn't wake up early enough. But I kind of had a late night, and unfortunately I gave my husband a late night. I was just triggered out as poop last night. It was really bad. It was one of the worst episodes that I've had in a while. I was scratching myself a lot. I just hated myself. I was stuck in a really intense emotional flashback. A really intense one. And I think part of that is the scar on my leg that's healing as a tattoo, but my body keeps flashbacking to when it wasn't a tattoo, to when it was, scars from me hurting myself and cutting myself. So I've been stuck in that world a lot the last couple days. And it's just really rough. It's really, really rough. I don't know. And then I was screaming last night too. It was a really rough night. It was. And, of course I had nightmares. And then, I woke up. I'm talking on the support group, just taking a short break to update my vlog. And then, gonna try to get through today. And I have my mental support group tonight. So, hopefully that helps. It all helps. I got my own therapy coming up soon. That will help. It is... I don't know. It's like my brain from middle school, high school just gets turned on. It gets turned on. And then I can't turn it back off. And those old belief systems come back, where it's like you're worthless, you're not worth anything, you're stupid. Why are you like this? You make everybody's life harder. Why? Angry voice has been very much turned on. And I'm just exhausted from it. From the constant bombardment of insult that feels natural in a way. Like, it puts me back in this weird, familiar place where it's hard to get out of that weird, familiar place. You know? Like, last night I had like I don't even know, 24 flashbacks last night in rapid succession. And one of them was my mom walking into my room when I was in high school. I don't know, I was like 14 or 15 probably. And I was just sitting on my bed minding my own business, and she comes into my room and she just slaps me across the face hard. Hard enough for my glasses to go flying off my face, you know? And then she yelled at me and said, "Those glasses better not be broken because I'm not buying you another pair." And, I don't. It's weird. It's just weird how many flashbacks. Like, this is a PTSD storm. And I know that, but I feel so stupid in a way. Like, don't let a tattoo do that to yourself. Not only that, you got this tattoo to cover up some of that stuff, to feel better about it. But the healing process, oh my god, the healing process is so fucking triggering. So, yeah. I've been watching a lot of Attack on Titan. I caught up on it the last couple days, and I've been rewatching the other ones because when I can just sit and watch a television show, you know, that one is good for making me cry, and I don't know, it inspires me in a weird way with the characters. I'm not gonna spoil anything because that show is so good. I highly recommend it. But it's incredibly sad. It's a sad show, and I don't know. I've been just getting lost in that in order to escape from my own shit. Because, you know, the overwhelming feelings when you're like, and it's weird because it's like, sometimes I feel like I deserved all that pain, you know, like the old childhood perception of like, this is just what my life is and it's what it's supposed to be because I am not a good person, you know, just that pure self-loathing that gets pounded into your head of, you deserve this, you deserve to be treated like shit, you deserve to get hit and assaulted because you're not worth a damn thing. That's been stuck in my head really bad. So, and I know it doesn't last forever, but it feels like it does when you're stuck in it. And just, you know, and I feel like I'm traumatizing my husband through this. He has to watch me go through this, and then when my episodes get really bad, of course he's gonna get scared and freaked out, and I'm putting him through that. And I'm the one doing it to him. Like, I'm the one traumatizing him. So, I don't know. This might be a short vlog, so I don't just end up crying all morning. But suffice it to say, I had a very rough night last night. And maybe I'll check in later today if things get better and I can actually talk. So, yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Hello. It is 12/4, 7:15 a.m. I was just recording the intro and my friend called like a minute into it, so I just redid it. So, I had flashbacks last night again, and that was rough. I get so many of them. It's like a movie of my life. And it'll get so bad that I look around and I just see my old house. I see my room, my bed frame. I can feel those old feelings again. Those feelings are intense as all shit. Jesus. But, the days are slightly getting easier. I started reading Native Son again, which I think I'm going to make a video on the character of that, because Richard Wright goes into this, in the introduction, he describes how he came up with the fictional character of Bigger Thomas and how he's seen other Bigger Thomases in his day, and it's just really interesting, so I think I want to make a video on that. Yeah, but it appears as though I'm in a PTSD storm due to my choice of tattoo location, which is my own fault, I just wanted to cover up some scars. Which, I figured it might be a little triggering, but I think I underestimated how hard it was living through that. And not going crazy. So, I'm gonna try to read today. I'm gonna try to make videos and watch shows. I caught up on Attack on Titan, and then I'm rewatching that from the beginning, although I'm already towards season 2 now. That show is so good. Oh my god. Attack on Titan is so sad though. I highly recommend it if you like a good story, but be prepared to cry a lot, I guess. I'm already crying, so, And then to laugh, I've been watching Slamsicle. Some of his older videos I'm rewatching. So, there's that. All my recommendations of how I survive a PTSD storm, television, videos, reading. Might try to draw it too. That might help. So, gosh, what else? I'm talking to my friend on the phone just now. I remembered I have a doctor's appointment today that I completely forgot about. I just hate busy days. I really don't like busy days. But that's not till 1. So I have plenty of time. Yeah. I don't even freaking know. I don't know. I'm exhausted from the late nights of Flashbacks, I guess. I should have just made an update last night, but, why not wait till it's morning and you're triggered out? So, I'm gonna go for now, because my brain is just pulling blanks out, and it's hard to focus. It's hard to do anything. So, I'll be back. Hello. It is 12:05, 6:50 a.m. And I'm doing a lot better. I think part of that is I'm healing really well. And the pain has considerably gone down. And I had my therapy appointment this week, which helped tremendously. It helps so much. So, I'm happy to be out of that rut a little bit. And obviously this happiness isn't going to last forever, but I'm enjoying it well I can, pretty much. So, thank God for that. Yeah, it just occurred to me that my life isn't very exciting since I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I don't know, all my stories are just about PTSD stuff, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know. I woke up like an hour ago. But my friend texted me very early because she works night shift. So she texted me after work saying, "Call me when you can." And when I called her, she was like, "Oh my god, you're up already?" I was like, "Yeah, yes I am up already." So yeah, um, I don't even know. I'm doing better. Getting prepared for Christmas parties and all that stuff. Getting all the Christmas presents in the mail. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And, yeah, I'm just doing a lot better. I'm starting to read Native Son again. And actually, I think I'm going to make a video about it. Like a book review type thing. While I read it. So it's like, you'll get like a synopsis of it. Because so far I've only read through the introduction, and even just reading through the introduction, I was crying a bit because Richard Wright has some very interesting, good perspectives, even for today. Uh, he he was born in Mississippi in the early 1900s. I can't remember if it was 1904 or 1914, something like that. But he was born in Mississippi, and he grew up in the South, during the Jim Crow era. And he's just got a lot of it's like I'm attracted to reading about his experience, and I'm attracted to just reading about oppressed people's experiences in general. And it's kind of triggering what drew me to that book in the first place way back in high school. But now I'm reading it from an adult perspective, which is also interesting. I don't know. I'm not describing that right. I'm not very good at talking very well when I'm all calm and stuff. Because I'm not in like that contemplative state of mind where I'm analyzing everything. I'm kind of just like, oh, I want to do this now. Oh, I want to do that now. So, but yeah. I guess I had a doctor's appointment yesterday since hearing in my right ear is going now. And tests were normal. So nothing too bad that she could see. But that's the thing, is like my right ear will go deaf randomly. So when I was taking the test, obviously I could hear out of my right ear. It wasn't one of those times where it had left. But I don't go deaf for that long. It's just little segments, like maybe a minute of, oh crap, the hearing went in my right ear. Oh, okay, it's back. So pretty much she told me just to keep an eye on it, and if it goes completely deaf, that I should go back in. It's like, okay, I guess I can do that. But I don't know. With all my other health conditions, they seemed a lot more stressful almost than this, and I don't know why that is. Because I like my hearing, but it's not like maybe it's just because it's one ear, and I'm like, well, I can manage with one ear. That's not too bad. But yeah, so been dealing with that. I don't know. I'm gonna be good pretty much until Christmas comes up, because Christmas can be triggering. Usually every Christmas I got a number of flashbacks going on. So that's fun. I might get going just because I don't know. I don't know what to say. My life isn't very exciting right now. I'm just preparing for the holidays, and yeah, I guess me and my husband were arguing a bit over the weekend because we were both going through really stressful times, and but we're doing a lot better now. And part of that was talking to my therapist and then realizing that I was projecting some of my anger onto my husband because he's going through a stressful time, which isn't helpful for either of us. And just making that realization, like, you're not helping the situation. It kind of helped pull me out of the flashback and pull me out of my feelings a little bit to get more of a unbiased perspective on it. I mean, it's still biased because it's pretty impossible to be unbiased looking at yourself, but it very much helped. And so I guess for whatever advice this is worth, when you're having trouble with your partner and significant other, and you're both just, whether they're traumatized as well or if they're not traumatized, as in my husband's case, he's not traumatized, but he's still a person who gets stressed out. And when you're fighting all the time, it can be really hard to take your head out of it and to take your feelings out of it for a minute and be like, oh, part of the reason why I'm fighting with this person is because I'm worried about them. And I don't know how to deal with that in a healthy way. I was not taught how to healthily be concerned about somebody and show them that I care, especially if I'm going through something too. But even just talking to your significant other about that, about, hey, we've been arguing a lot lately, but I feel like it's because we're both in pain right now. So I'm going to try to think of ways to cheer you up, and you can think of ways to cheer me up. And that will probably overlap. This is a thing. Because my therapist, she asked me, like, well, what is your love language? What makes you feel loved? And it's like, well, just spending time with my husband and laughing with him and talking with him and all of that makes me feel loved. And then, it's like, well, what's his love language? And it's like, well, he draws love more from hugs and touch and that sort of thing. So, and then it just clicked with me, like, oh, tonight we can just hang out on the couch and watch a show and giggle together. And that would probably be good for both of us. So that's what we did last night. We just sat together. We watched one of our favorite shows together that always makes us laugh. And it was so helpful. And I kind of feel stupid that it took a therapy session to figure that out. To be like, all right, you both need to relax and just hang out with each other instead of trying to push each other away. Because we both get into these cycles where when we are getting too stressed out, it's like we feel like a burden to the other person. So when we're both having that mindset of, oh, they don't want to talk to me, I'll have to handle this myself, that creates more tension, because then you look at the other person doing their own thing and keeping themselves busy, and you're like, oh, well, see, that's the evidence that they don't want to talk to me. That's the evidence that they don't want to hang out with me and that they don't like me, is because, they're doing their own thing. They're keeping themselves busy, not considering that they're doing that because the same thing is going on in their head of, oh, my partner doesn't want to talk to me right now. I'm a pain in the butt to be around. So I'm just going to take care of myself. And me and him, sometimes our cycles sync up that way, where we're both pushing each other away because it almost feels like you're too much of a burden. But then having that realization and then being like, okay, I'm going to choose to do this differently because I don't want to push my husband away when I'm hurting, and just changing up those neuron whatever in your brain to, instead of pushing away, I'm going to pull you closer. And not in a controlling sort of way, but just in a loving sort of way. I'm going to pull you close to me and be like, you know what, I'm in pain and I feel like you're in pain too. Let's do something fun. And that can be really hard to do, especially when you're arguing and there's a lot of emotions, because it's really hard to tell when you're projecting emotions onto somebody or if your emotions are from their actions. You know what I mean? I think, So that was really helpful, and I think that definitely helped out my mood too. And because me and my husband, we blend very well together. It's just those poopy times that we're both really stressed out where it gets really hard. And I feel like I kind of made a breakthrough in that pattern and that cycle that we fall into sometimes of, you know, you're trained to be invisible when you're under a lot of stress. Because when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to show stress. I wasn't allowed to show that I was going through a hard time. And that old thinking, those emotional flashbacks, can get so strong sometimes. It's really hard to get out of. It's not just, oh, you snap out of it, fine. Like, you have to catch yourself, and then you willingly have to ground yourself and kind of make that perspective shift on your own, or with the help of a therapist in my case. But you have to make that perspective shift, which also isn't easy. Like, I don't know, but I feel like me and my husband do pretty well relationship wise, and that we've made a ton of progress. Because the early days, holy buckets, the early days were a lot harder. First of all, I wasn't diagnosed, so I had all of these symptoms and I didn't have a name for them. And our fights were a lot more intense back then. Intense in ways of, like, he would get upset, and so he would raise his voice, which would then trigger me. And then I would shut down, and then that would make him angry because he didn't understand why I wasn't talking or responding. And then he would still be frustrated talking to me about it, and that would trigger me out even more. Like, oh, he hates me, he hates me, he hates me. And there's been times in our old fights where I would just start punching myself in the head or scratching at my skin or any of those things, where it was like I would self-harm in the middle of a fight because I didn't know what was going on. He didn't know what was going on. And then after the diagnosis, we made progress so quickly because both of us started researching this stuff and sharing articles with each other of, like, oh my God, that's what that is. Even to this day, he still helps me figure stuff out. And he still helps me with my triggers. And he still helps me, like, he's an engineer. He has a very scientific mind. So it's really nice to have him a part of my recovery, because he has almost more of a analytical, logical mind. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm completely illogical or whatever, but my first reaction to most things is emotional. And then I get to the logical part later. Whereas he's able to see the logical part first, and that has helped me tremendously through recovery. So if you're early on in a relationship and you're also early on in diagnosis or figuring this stuff out, just know that progress can be made, and it's really beautiful when two people come together and help each other through the really hard stuff and learn about each other. Like, that's just a really beautiful thing. And then that also helped me out, was talking to my therapist about, you know, we get in these unhealthy cycles or whatever, and I was talking about our marriage, and she pointed out, though, like, yeah, but you have a happy family compared to what you grew up with, especially, but even without your terrible past, you still have a really good family. Like, can you imagine having any fights with your husband like your mom did with your stepdad? And I can't imagine that. I can't imagine those fights going on in my adult life today, because I'm so far removed from those cycles and from that person, from my mother. And so is my husband. Like, he's nothing like her. I'm nothing like her. So it was encouraging in a way, and it kind of made me feel proud of being able to break the cycle, and then also making my own cycles and working on those and making progress through those. Like, it was just really nice to hear validation from a professional of, you're doing a good job, you're doing the right thing. So, this vlog has gone on forever. So this will probably be the last one in this batch. I'm gonna get going. I got games to record. I got other videos to record. So I hope y'all have a good one.